This video is sponsored by Dreamverse. Dreamverse is the world's first NFT and music festival. It is being held on the 4th of November at Terminal 5 in New York. It is a physical event. Really cool stuff happening. In particular, it is the first time that Bleeple's The First 5,000 Days NFT will be showcased. This is the most expensive NFT in the world at $69 million. There's a whole bunch of art stuff going on, including AR and VR experiences. That's from 12 to 4 p.m. And then there is the Dreamverse party from 8 to 1 a.m. Headlined by Alesso, various other artists there as well. Of course, the tickets are NFTs designed by a lot of money. You can buy them now. You get this sepia version, and when you turn up and get them scanned, you get this fully colourful version of the ticket itself, a valuable NFT. So check it all out. It's happening the 4th of November in New York. Check it out at dreamverse.life. Thanks for the sponsorship. Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So we're going to have a quick look at what's going on with Yield Guild. So Yield Guild is one of these interesting sort of new sort of blockchain sort of community-led sort of it's a DAO really, I suppose. And every month they basically put out a report saying what they've invested in and what other games they have assets in. So Yield Guild is really set up to create opportunities for people to earn in-game assets and then take that out as their salary. So famously with Axie Infinity, it has however many what we got here. I'm going to tell us. So we have 4,710 people playing Axie Infinity using NFTs that Yield Guild Gaming owns. Yield Guild Gaming invested almost $1 million or $848,000 breeding Axies in September. Together, cumulatively, the Yield Guild has generated over $10 million of SLP tokens. 70% of those go to the scholars. So basically, that's how these people in the Philippines are being able to earn their living. In some cases, all their living. In some cases, part of their salary. And that's because Yield Guild is buying all these Axies and breeding Axies, and then it's lending them out to people who don't have access to those NFTs. They only borrow them through using a QR code, and they're playing the game and they're earning the tokens. Yield Guild has the tokens, then at the end of the week transfers the tokens to the scholars. So that's how that's sort of still working. That's the sort of the heartbeat of Yield Guild. But we've seen now fairly fast sort of transformation. It launched its own token, which has been doing very well. So obviously the price goes up or down, but it's roughly market cap is about $1 billion at the moment. I think that's right. Also it has a treasury. So obviously the treasury is sort of the idea of all the NFTs and tokens that Yield Guild sort of owns for its own operation, and also it's raised money through its token. It's raised money from VCs as well. So it's sort of various sort of flows of money going around. But the point of having a treasury is that it can invest in future games, buy NFTs, and then sort of expand its reach and get more gamers involved with this sort of play to earn mechanic as more games sort of launch with play to earn mechanics in them. Okay, so let's have a look at the treasury. So the treasury is basically the Yield Guild token. So they have almost $800 million of that at the moment. Obviously that goes up and down depending on the price. Price is about, I know that, I won't say what the price, I think it's a bit up from that now. So it has a bunch of stable coins, so $13 million of USDC, $161,000 of Tether, has $4.5 million of ETH, has some a bunch of Axie governance tokens, almost $14 million of Axie, some SLP, which is obviously the ones that's sort of bought and sold, and Sand token from the Sandbox, not very much, $135,000. So that's the total treasury on $846 million of treasury. So that's just the assets sitting in there. As I say, the vast majority of this is their own token. So take of that what you will. What's more interesting, I guess, is the NFTs. So obviously, Yield Guild needs NFTs in order for people to play Axie Infinity, and it's also now investing in other companies. So what have we got here? So we have $4 million of Axies. We have $2 million of the land. We have Z-Run, the horse racing game, $300,000 there. A bit of F1 Delta Time, Formula One game. $242,000 of Sandbox, actually 180 NFT land there. So Yield Guild likes land. Lots of people like land. So Yield Guild also has some 16 land plots in Embersaw. That's supposedly it's valuing that at $5.8 million. League of Kingdoms has 286 land portions in there, some spaceships in Cometh, some stuff in Splinterlands, cards, I imagine in Splinterlands, $500,000 there. A whole bunch of guilds in Guild of Guardians, a game not going live till 2022. So it has 121. It's bought those on the marketplace. Star Atlas, this big game on Solana, it's bought a bunch of stuff in there. Ships, I think $1 million it announced. Influence, which is another space game where you buy asteroids. So it has $85 million, and this new game Thetian Arena, which is a sort of a rip-off of Clash Royale. Is that right? No, Brawl Stars, sorry. A bit of a rip-off of Supercell's Brawl Stars, so they've got a bunch of NFTs in there. So we can see here, what they're telling us here, giving us a combined value. So almost $18 million of NFTs, so obviously token value much higher than the NFT value, although obviously much harder to value NFTs because they're non-fungible. And the other interesting thing here is that it also has investments. So these are actual, what they call SAFs. They are sort of proper, it's like equity investment really. This is one way of looking at it, although I think these are probably to do with tokens anyway. But these aren't tokens themselves, these are sort of, these are sort of agreements. So it's a way of sort of getting access to future value without having the tokens themselves. I guess the best way of looking at it. So Illuvium, this big game coming out from the Warwick twins, not Warwick brothers, sorry, I should say. So $3.5 million of value in there. So a whole bunch of stuff in Star Atlas, Guild of Guardians already mentioned, Ember Sword already mentioned, Splinterlands, and this new Thetian Arena. Actually, almost $2 million worth of value in there. So they have $7 million worth of sort of token investment, long-term token investment in these things. So there we can see. So 8 games and platforms. Most of these are not live yet. So Illuvium, or you can stake stuff in Illuvium. Star Atlas not live yet. Splinterlands is live. So still the majority of stuff happening in Axie Infinity, but really moving quite fast in terms of trying to get players into these other games. And I think over time, that's what's interesting is when it gets up to sort of 10, 20,000 players, then Yield Guild is investing in assets early, so it's getting the sort of the advantage as the price of those goes up. But also it's also driving the price upwards by bringing in thousands, hundreds, maybe thousands of players to start to seed the economies of these games. And that's really the hardest thing for a lot of these games, is to get the economy started. These games here, only Splinterlands is live. Really, it's been live for a couple of years. All these other ones are sort of in various stages of development. Again, some of these games, F1 Delta Time, it's live, but no one's really playing it. It's sort of an on-chain game on Ethereum, so it's too expensive. Zedron's doing pretty well, I think. Sandbox, big one. We're looking forward to. League of Kingdoms, sort of, is live, but I wouldn't say it's sort of a. It's not on an Axie Infinity sort of trajectory. So Yield Guild is sort of spreading its bets, I suppose. But it really, it will be. I think what's interesting is it will play a key part in the next sort of Axie Infinity type success, because it can bring sort of capital and also sort of can bring players who are using those NFTs, who are then going to sort of start driving some of these in-game economies. So always worth checking out what Yield Guild is investing in. Obviously, not investment advice for the likes of us. They're always interesting to see. So anyway, thanks for watching the video. This is Blockchain Gaming World. Keep it here, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.